The rise of social withdrawal is alarming, and studies indicate that men are more likely to socially withdraw compared to women. And we know that social withdrawal is associated with many mental illnesses. We know that social withdrawal worsens an illness, both physical and mental. We know that social withdrawal increases the risk of suicide, such that if a person is socially withdrawn, they are 5 times more likely to die by suicide, to complete suicide. And it becomes very important then to start talking about social withdrawal, to understand the different factors that drive the behavior of social withdrawal. Because on the outside, it looks the same. The person is just socially withdrawn. But the reason, the motivation for withdrawing varies from one illness to another, from one condition to another. And we can try to look at least 3 different conditions to understand how social withdrawal manifests in these 3 different conditions. So we can look at the first one, depression. So in depression, a person is going to be socially withdrawn generally for 2 different reasons. The first reason is that what we call social anhedonia. So the person has lost interest or no longer finds pleasure in engaging socially with other people, or has reduced interest or reduced pleasure than they used to experience before. So this is the reason why they would withdraw socially as a result of depression. Number 2, still in depression, they withdraw because of low self-esteem, feeling worthless. So this person has repetitive negative thoughts about themselves. And so because of that, they don't see the need to go and meet other people or mingle with other people. And so they're so absorbed, so preoccupied with these thoughts of negative self-evaluation. If we look at another illness, that would be social anxiety. The reason why a person would withdraw in social anxiety is fear of negative evaluation. They're afraid that they're going to be rejected. They're afraid that they're going to be criticized. And so this person is going to be afraid of talking to people, maybe even eating in front of people or performing in front of people, because they're afraid of being rejected or ridiculed. The third illness we can look at is OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Now, the reason why a person with OCPD is going to socially withdraw is because they tend to prioritize work, tasks, procedures over relationships. And these people tend to be very committed to their work than they are committed to relationships. And so it's just a matter of what is priority for them when it comes to OCPD, unless it's associated with something else like social anxiety. And I'm going to add a third one, which is not an illness, but a normal personality, introversion. Now, the social withdrawal that we see in introverted people is because of preference. So there's no fear, there's no loss of interest. They just prefer to have some time on their own to recharge as compared to being in social interactions. And so for them, they're very selective, very intentional about the time they give to themselves and the time they give other people. And so if you see them in the context of when they need time for themselves, you might think they're socially isolated, but really that's their time to recharge. For you to be able to then understand introversion as a normal personality, you need to be able to see the person in both contexts, in the context of when they've recharged and they're willing to interact with other people, and in the context when now they're isolated and they want to recharge, so that you don't call it a symptom. It's just a normal phenomenon in introversion. And there are many other illnesses that also have social isolation as a symptom. And like I said, it becomes very important then to understand the motivation, the driving factor for the withdrawal, for you to be able then to say, this symptom of social withdrawal is more likely because of depression, this symptom of social withdrawal is more likely because of social anxiety, this is more likely because of avoidant personality, this is more likely because of, let's say, agoraphobia. You need to understand the motivation, because if you just look at the social withdrawal, it looks similar on the outside. Externally, there's no difference between a person who is socially withdrawn because of anxiety, because of social anxiety or depression. But when you talk to the individual, when you start making your assessment clinically, then you're able to elicit this motivation to be able then to make an accurate diagnosis.